All right. So let's talk a little game preview, man. We obviously have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have already been in town, but those guys are showing up for a little Saturday night football at Acrisure Stadium. Super looking forward to the matchup. Now, in terms of who is not playing, because you know Coach Tomlin got a list. All right, stay with some guys that's not going to play. But he's already let us know Aaron Rodgers, not going to see him tonight or on Saturday night with the spaceship helmet. All right, none of that. DK Metcalf not going to play. Jalen Ramsey not going to play. Darius Slay not going to play. TJ Watt not playing. Alex Highsmith not playing. Patrick Queen not playing. Chris Boswell not playing. And last but certainly not least, Cam Hayward is also not going to be playing. Now, these are the guys that we know aren't playing just simply because Coach Tomlin is holding them out of the game. Some of the guys that we're dealing with injury, right? We talked about Calvin Austin, Corey Trice and company. Those guys is still up in the air. He has not officially ruled them out from my understanding just yet, but it's not looking likely that those guys will be out there, but that specifically is more so because of the injury element versus the guys that I just listed off. Coach Thomas specifically saying that those guys he's just holding out, but he didn't rule out their potential to play next week in that final preseason game where we go down to Carolina, because we do know, which started last year when they reduced the preseason to just 3 games, you have a bonus week from that last preseason game before you actually get into your regular season, which is different than how it was in years past where, you know, you play on Thursday, Sunday hits, and then that following Sunday you got a game. They got a bonus week kind of built into that now. But in terms of the players that I do want to see in some specific matchups, I'm going to be looking for just for information, right? Information. We know up front, man, we're going to get our O-line out there, man, but I need to see Broderick and Troy again, man. Broderick Jones, Troy Fautano. I thought Broderick played well last week. Liked him in his matchup versus Josh Hines Allen. I talk about that a little bit on the Master Mode Swim session that we dropped earlier today also. But to me, that's one of those players, man, when you're looking at Broderick and Troy, young guys, but it's like, yo, you're going to match up against two young pass rushers. One guy actually really good, and we don't know how much we're going to see of them. But Todd Bowles did say that, you know, he wants some of those guys to get out there. Now, this was prior to the practice finishing today, so we will see if any new information comes from Todd Bowles in the Bucs camp. But Broderick Jones and Troy Fautano, last week they got a chance to play against Josh Hines Allen and Travon Walker, 2 really good young players. This week is Yaya Diaby and Hassan Riddick. Hassan Riddick is a dude, man, double-digit sack guy, man, has been in the headlines for contract situations in his own right, but dude got juice, man, former teammate, man, who was out in AZ. He knows how to rush that pass. He knows how to turn that corner, man, and yeah, he going to put pressure on these tackles. And then Yaya Diaby, man, young guy out of Louisville, was 2 years ago, I want to say now. Another dude, man, knows how to rush that pass, a good size on him, man. Different style rushers, though. 4-3 type of dudes versus 3-4 type of dudes, man. And this is what you want to see, though, man. Just how they continue to match up with these type of players, man. Proven players, productive players. Next up, Caleb Johnson. Now, Coach Thomas specifically talked about Caleb Johnson, saying that he wanted to see a little bit more of a smoother performance from him. But he's one of those guys to me, man. I know he can block, but I want to see improvement there. I know he can run the ball, but I want to see him pick up his feet, man. Pick up your feet. Don't let one guy bring you down, man, and get you an explosive runoff, man, because that's what we brought you here to do. We feel like that is what you bring as an upgrade over a Najee Harris. So go out there and prove what you're capable of, young fella, man. And I want to see him catch the ball, right? We obviously know, you know, he had the little whoopsie, but, man, go ahead, go out there and show him what you actually can do, man, because I do think he's a lot more of a productive player and should look a lot better than what he did in that first game. But like I said, man, that first time putting that NFL jersey on an NFL stadium, it hits different. And everybody adjusts to it differently. Everybody handles it differently. But to me, that was one of those things where it was just like, yeah, I felt like the moment kind of got to him a little bit, man. But we'll see how he responds to that. From there, Roman Wilson. Roman, I like what I saw from him last game, man. Was it perfect? Nah, but I think he could continue on with the production that we saw from him, man. I like the fact that he was showing hands catching. I like the fact that he was playing fast. And I think for him, you got to hit the ground running, man. Because right now, who's wide receiver 2? We're going to say Calvin Austin, but Calvin is, like I said, been banged up, been out of it, right? Robert Woods, the veteran, but we don't think that that's necessarily going to, be the guy that we lean on exclusively to be wide receiver 2. So Roman Wilson is the guy that we're going to be looking at. I talked about Keyshawn Williams. We talked about Rod Taylor, Brandon Johnson. It's like all of those names are legitimately a part of this because nobody has really stepped up to say, you know what, this is my spot. I got this. So Roman Wilson, man, nothing is keeping you from being that guy. Let's see how you continue to emerge. Peyton Wilson is another dude that I'm excited to see, mainly because, man, what he was showing last week, man, his sideline to sideline, I love the suplex. You're going to take a dude to suplex city, baby. I want to see that again. All right. But to me, I just want to continue to see his growth. I want to see him playing next to, obviously, because he won't be playing next to Patrick Queen. I still want to see him, though, next to a Cole Holcomb, man, because 5 looked good last week. But I want to see those two dudes, man, but specifically Peyton Wilson, because I got high expectations for him. You heard me talk about him as one of my breakout guys, specifically on offense going into this season. I think that, yeah, he's a guy that will be able to, in terms of Peyton Wilson, will be able to be one of those, ultra productive, high volume tacklers for us, man, with splash capability. I did initially have Corey Trice up here, but like I said, man, we're still up in the air on his availability. If he is able to go, great, because we haven't seen him in a while. And I need to see him, man, because the talent is there. The production hasn't always been there because he's been hurt. But when he's been available, he looks good. But that only lasts for so long, man. Eventually, that clock starts to tick, so to speak, and we look and we say, man, your best ability is your availability. And if we don't have, enough opportunities of seeing you, we got to move in a different direction. And it happens a lot at this level, man, because of how physical and how violent the game is. But that is my hope that, man, he will be able to get out there sooner rather than later. But with that being the case, though, JPJ, he is on the list because he is playing this week and he gonna have action. Mike Evans is playing this week. Turns of that's what Todd Bowles said. And Emeka Egbuka. Why do I like both of them? Well, Emeka was a dude that we were talking about drafting in the first round here, right? That was one of the receivers that we brought up multiple times. Say, yo, tap into that one, man. We might get this one out of Ohio State, right? Out of Ohio State. He had a nice big play last week, man, in the preseason game. I want to see, man, when JPJ matches up versus Emeka or when JPJ matches up versus Mike Evans, how you look, man? Do you look the part? Do you look like CB1 or do you look like a young guy still? Are we holding and grabbing, right? Those are some of the things I want to see with JPJ specifically, because I think both of those receivers are good matchups for him. Obviously, Mike, the wily veteran, proven, ultra consistent. That's Mr. 1K. But to me, man, with the Emeka, yeah, I just want to see it, man. Give me that matchup. I don't know how often you're going to get this because it's the preseason. And with the preseason, man, sometimes, all right, you might tell the guy, man, follow this guy the whole time. You might tell that wide receiver, you're going to line up on the left side outside the whole time. I don't know where the Bucs are going to be with their progression, especially with a young player like Emeka. Are they going to play him inside exclusive? Are they going to play him outside, front side of the formation, backside? I don't know all of that right now. But I do want to see when JPJ gets a chance to get after that, man. Or like I said, when he's matching up with Mike Evans, because either one of those dudes, I think, are going to be able to give JPJ good work. And ultimately, that's what we need for him to take that next step and be the corner that we think he's capable of being. He has to play against these type of dudes, man, and hold his own, which I think he's more than capable of. From there, though, Beanie Bishop, obviously, man, I'm excited about him. Got to keep watching that, though, because I want to continue to see him make plays. Last week, Brandon Echols, man, made some plays, man. Brandon Echols was over here turning some heads and letting people know, like, yo, I'm here. All right, I'm not just a camp body. I'm here to take a spot. And that's why you heard me talk about urgency a little bit with Corey Trice, or speak on Corey Trice with urgency, because I'm looking at that cornerback room and I'm like, 3 spots is already gone, right? JPJ, Darius Slay, and Jalen Ramsey. So now I'm like, all right, Beanie put hot tape out there. Brandon Echols put hot tape out there. Beanie's just familiar, right? And then you got Corey Trice, the freakazoid, in terms of how he's built and when he's been available. So these are all these, like, yo. And then you can't forget Pierre. Don't forget Pierre. Pierre was making play last week too. It was like, yo, it's just a lot of people's lives getting deeper over there, right? So that's the thing that, like I said, man, I want to see those cornerbacks, man. As deep as that room is getting, as many of those guys are getting out there, who's going to make plays, who's going to separate themselves, man. And sometimes you need quality opponents. Because if you go out there and you make plays versus Emeka versus Mike Evans, I'm talking JPG, I'm talking Beanie, I'm talking Brandon Echols, any of those dudes, if you make a play versus those type of guys, it is going to hit a little bit different, the impact of it. And I think that that's the part where when you're trying to, show why you belong here, why you deserve a roster spot on that active 53, this is all a part of that evaluation, but you really want to make it as tough as you can on the coaching staff. So we will see there. A couple other dudes though, man, that like I said to me, man, after what they did last week, I want to see some more of that, man. What about Juan Thornhill? Huh? How did it? Was I the only one who got excited about seeing big hits return? Huh? Big hits back again. I loved it, man. I absolutely love watching him lay that thigh out on Brian Thomas Jr., man. Like, that's the type of stuff there was like, you know what? That's that old school football. That's what it's supposed to feel like. Make wide receivers afraid to come across the middle. Make quarterbacks have to actually account for throwing that ball across the middle. And when they get their receivers killed, make them have to look that receiver in the eye, man. Like, I love that right there, man. But that's the part when you're talking about with Juan. It's like, yeah, Juan brings that. Juan brings physicality. Juan is rangy also, but Juan is a veteran. Juan is a dude that's had success in this league. Like I said, health has been his Achilles heel, availability. So for me, man, when I look at that, I'm like, I need to see it again. If you can stay healthy and keep putting that on tape, man, we got spots for you. We're going to have some opportunities for you. Chuck Clark is another guy. Chuck made a couple of plays. Let's see, man, because both of those dudes are competing to be what? Man, I want more snaps. I need to get out there, man. I can't have you in terms of Deshaun Elliott taking all the snaps and I don't get no action. No, whether it's starting opposite or that third safety role. But to me, I look at both of those dudes, man, Chuck Clark and Juan Thornhill, and it's like, yeah, that's an active competition, man. And you want to see both of those dudes making plays. But to me, man, Thornhill is definitely one of those dudes, man, that the way he played last week, man, it kind of caught my eye a little bit. I'm like, all right, I like that, baby. I like that. And then, of course, last but not least, my two young guys, man, Derek Harmon and Nick Herbig. Derek Harmon, number one, because that's the first rounder, man. And anytime you're first rounder, expectations are going to be high. But more importantly, because of Cam Hayward and this here hold in and him flirting with, I will sit out on you. Remember, he said that. Now it has me concerned. Now I'm like, yo, Derek, you better, hey, we ain't got time for you to slow develop, baby. In a hurry. We need you up to speed ASAP. So now I'm looking at that with a lot more intention, with a lot more urgency in terms of his development and in terms of him being ready to, be the guy. Because if Cam can't go for whatever reason, contractually, if he sits out, heck, or he comes back and he ends up, God forbid, but kind of goes down. It's like, yo, Derek, we're going to need you. And that's why we drafted you in the first round, man. We're going to need you to come in here and hit the ground running, man. So to me, I'm looking at that because that has to continue to develop. That has to continue to be on time. All right. YA Black, we obviously know he played well last week, but it's a different type of expectations for YA just because of the body type, the position we're asking him to play, and what we're going to require of him. Derek Harmon, different conversation. Derek, we're expecting higher things from him. But more importantly, when you talk about potentially, a world where you wouldn't have Cam Hayward out there at the beginning part of the season, if we don't want our defense, specifically our run defense, to feel atrocious, to feel super soft, like putting in the middle, it's going to be, them Derek Harmons of the world, the Keanu Bittens of the world, the YA Blacks of the world, having to step up. And like I said, man, that's just a little bit more of a challenge for younger players early on, man. But that's, like I said, man, kind of my thought process with it, man. And that's why I always see you hear the urgency when I'm like, yo, Steelers, y'all are better with Cam. Cam, you're better with the Steelers. Because both of these parties need each other, man. We don't want to go and play this season without Cam out there, regardless of him 36 or not, regardless of, oh, man, how much should he get paid, this and that. None of us are going to enjoy watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play defense this year if Cam Hayward is not on that defense, bro. Like, take the feeling, take the pride out of it. That's the reality because of who he is, because of how he plays the game. We don't care about any of the other stuff. Just cut the tape on, right? That's the part that, like I said, man, makes me feel a little bit uneasy about it. And I understand that that's the leverage that Cam has in this whole situation, man. But we will see, man. We will see. But For sure, I want to see Nick Herbig. Now, and I'm getting my flying Hawaiian back this week. He got to sit out last week with the vet card. I said, dang, Herbig, boy, you done graduated on us. All right. But it's different this week. I get a chance to see him. And I know he's going to be amped up, fired up, ready to go. I ain't get a sack all last week, man. I don't like watching games that my black and gold don't touch the quarterback, man. All right. So I need that to transpire this week. Need that. I'm gonna get Herbig and Sawyer, the battle of my two young boys out there, man. Who is going to take over? Who is going to show that they belong as rusher 3, which we already know is Herbig. But still, it's like, man, you still got to prove it. Each and every year is different. Each and every year you got to go out there and let them know this is what I'm on. So I do like that, man. 100% I like that. But that's one of them things right now where I'm just like, Herbig, yeah. I thought Herbig won't gonna have to play this week, but Herbig, you in the mix, baby. You are in the mix. So, like I said, man, I'm personally excited to see that, man. So you already know the drill, though, man. Hit the like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel.